Hi everyone, my name is Carson Albrecht and this is my forensic science entomology case report. This case study was done on the forensic use of a subtropical blowfly. It is the first case indicating minimum postmortem interval, or MPMI, and first record of Sarcognesia chlorogaster from a human corpse. Introduction. So a body was found indoors in southern Brazil. It had small access for insects to get to it. Indoor fly samples were collected. 4 species were found, but only 2 were used to determine the PMI. These 2 were the Chrysomia albiceps and Sarcognesia chlorogaster. The PMI was estimated using accumulated degree hour, or ADH, and developmental time based on several studies that were performed on these 2 species. And if you look to the right here, there's a map of Brazil, and this is the city that it was located in, Curitiba. Case report. So on the 13th of December in 2011, the body was found in an advanced decomposition stage. My apologies. It was found in a house in, again, the city Curitiba in the state of Parana. According to local weather stations, the temperature for that day was about 20 degrees Celsius. And the half-open back door was the only access that the insects had to the body. Investigators wanted to mention that when the body was found, it was in a supine position, very swollen, and due to the advanced decomposition, it was hard to determine, but it was a female. The eye color and the skin could not be determined because of this. So of these species that were collected, the facial and genital areas had the majority of larvae concentrations, and because of this, these are where the samples were collected from. These samples were sent to the Forensic Entomology Group at the Federal University of Parana, my apologies. What was sent was 1 egg mass, 4 pupae, several first, second, and third instar larvae, and a single adult fly. So of these species, 8 third instar larvae were placed and measured in 70% alcohol as a voucher specimen, whereas the rest were conditioned to emerge as adults. These adults that emerged were one of 4 species: Hemilucilia semidiaphana, my apologies, Lucilia sericata, Chrysomia albiceps, or Sarcognesia chlorogaster. So again, the minimum PMI was estimated with ADH and developmental time, and based off this, it was approximately 7 to 10 days. So the Sarcognesia chlorogaster MPMI that was determined, there were recent studies that were used, and because of this, because of the time that the larvae were found, it cannot be used. So because of this, they did perform tests to avoid overestimation. So 60 third instar larvae were placed into 1 liter of vermiculite for observation of the prepupal stage. From this, 40 pupae emerged. These were individually placed in test tubes, labeled, and then photographed every hour for 10 hours. After 3 hours, the pupae were alike in color, and after 3 hours, no perception of color had changed. Based off of this, an estimated MPMI of 7.6 days was determined. So as you can see here, there is when the pupae started, and it slowly emerges to a darker shade of brown. And the other species that was used, the Chrysomia albiceps, there were recent studies that were performed that could be used to determine the PMI, and because of this, no studies had to be performed. The PMI was estimated to be 7.4 days from these studies. Conclusion: due to southern Brazil's unusual climates, the PMI and entomological evidence, sorry, I forgot my a little brain fart there. So due to the unusual climate, the entomological evidence is usually sidetracked and not looked at, because the PMI is usually off by several days. So here with a minimum PMI of 7 to 10 days, excuse me, 7 to 10 days, this is determined with the calculations at the start. And after tests were done, the MPMI of 7.4 days and the PMI of 7.6 days from recent studies was determined. The investigators were satisfied with these results as it fit in with the 7 to 10 days. And based off of this, the initial infestation started between the afternoon of December 5th and the morning of December 6th in 2011. And here are my references. This is the initial case study. And thank you.